asked someone, yo, what's your favorite top 5 album? Ready to Die, Into 36 Chambers. I asked someone, yo, what's your favorite top 5 album? Ready to Die, Into 36 Chambers.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to Shegetsitpod. My name is Shan. I am the creator of this lovely podcast you hear right now. And this is the final episode of season 19 for Shegetsitpod. And it is called 36 Chambers of Shan because I love me some Wu-Tang. Those that know. I've seen Wu-Tang in concert probably twice. And you already know how they do when they do concerts. And it's an energy of different personalities and being able to adapt and work together to make something great. And I just don't feel like they get their flowers enough, but I did enjoy that Wu-Tang saga. But anywho, I am turning 36 and I'll be taking a break before my birthday. And I'll be back mid-June. So, y'all gonna miss me for like a couple of weeks, but y'all be all right. And I appreciate y'all listening to this season. I'm going to talk a bit about myself in this episode because it is called 36 Chambers of Shan. And I appreciate you guys supporting the podcast, purchasing merch, giving me feedback, posting my clips of the weird and crazy outlandish things that I say. I appreciate it. Podcasting is definitely something I enjoy. Trying to mother how I want to mother and still make space to create something where it doesn't take me away from my children. I enjoy it pretty much. And welcome. All right. So it wouldn't be a final episode if I didn't do some table topics cards. So I have the what would you do stack. So I'm going to do 2 questions out of there. Again, you can get table topic cards at tabletopics.com and you can order your cards. If you use the code SHAMBYPOD in all caps, you can get 15% off your order. All right. So let me see what card I'm going to pick because I already been playing in these. So let's see. Okay. What would you do if you saw a dog locked in a hot car? I'm going to break a window. I'm going to break a window because I don't understand for the life of me why the fuck people have to take their animals from their house or from the backyard, put them in a vehicle and drive them to the grocery store, drive them to Walgreens, drive them, with them going to Home Goods. Where the fuck are you going with this animal? It's an animal. It is meant to stay at home. Okay? Me personally, I'm not buying no little dog. What is little dog going to do for me except waste my money? I'm going to adopt a very big dog that is going to be properly trained to protect, guard, and play with my children. Okay? And his big ass will not be in my vehicle every time I go to the store. Are you crazy? Like, why do you have to put an animal in your car every time you go somewhere? I don't know what year it shifted and was like, the dog is family and it must come everywhere with us. Even restaurants. I went to a restaurant last weekend. There was a fucking dog sitting on the patio side, chained up while people ate and talked. Did that dog say they wanted to come? Yeah, so I'm breaking a window if I see a dog or a child in a vehicle while you go shop. That's ridiculous. Card 2. Are the world's ethics evolving or devolving? Listen, I don't know. I don't know if it's like the easy access to social media where you get to see how many people are living in a disgusting way, treating people in a horrible way. Or is it that when I was a kid, because it was on social media, we just didn't know how many people were just horrible people. And I don't know which one it is. So I don't feel like it's getting better. And I don't feel like it's getting any worse. I just feel like we have so much access to the information of what is currently going on, what has been going on. So because we see it more, we think it's worse. But I feel like it has always been trash, especially in the United States, okay? I can speak about every country, but I'll say that. The 36 Chambers of Shan. That's me. Y'all know where I got that from. The real ones, okay? The Nickelodeon kids, for real, know where I got that from. But anywho, wow. 19 motherfucking seasons. I did that. So, in podcasting, this is why I like podcasting. I don't like rules, okay? I love the fact that there are no real rules in podcasting other than how you set up your podcast for people to access it and hear it, okay? But you can do your podcast and never do episodes. You could just do a podcast and the episode and the podcast that you did is called this. You don't call it an episode. You don't number it. You don't make seasons. You just toss it out into the world. But for me, because I'm an organized freak, I like to know when this was, how can I find it? And if somebody was like, I want to know more about this, and I know that was a topic for me, I could tell them season 3 of She Gets It Podcast, episode 13. I talked about that. You know how quick they can put that in Google or just say it to Siri and that shit pop up? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I do seasons. And if I was supposed to give tips for someone who thinks, Chantal thinks that they want to have, multiple seasons and really grow this thing, number your shit. Number your episodes. Put season 1 and number it because it will get lost up in the rapture of all your talks, okay? I've done 19 seasons since 2018. 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, and we are now in 23. 6 years come February. Listen, when I started podcasting, y'all already know I did an episode on this. I didn't even know what a podcast was. And I started podcasting. It was supposed to be a podcast I did with X number 3 because he is a perfectionist and an engineer. The time was never the time, right? And so I was like, fuck it. While you thinking about when the time is going to be right for the show we want to do, I'm going to do a show. So I did Cozy Womb Podcast, okay? He's not a parent, so that was like something I could step in the lane of and do myself. I had lots to say about fucking parenting already. And then the more I did that show, I was like, okay, I can't sit on here and talk about everything outside of parenting because that's not the niche. So let me go ahead and make a separate show. Now, I went back and forth about what the fuck I was going to call this shit. And it ended up being She Gets It, right? That was the original. And then over time, I want to say a year or 2 later, I started seeing people do the name, but not put out the content. And I'm just like, well, why the fuck are you using the name? It's already out here. Why would you do that? And some people are just lazy and don't want to do the overall marketing and footwork of promoting a podcast. And they will basically branch off of some work you did. So that's why it's the name. I have thought about, ending it and making a different pod. But I went ahead and I made a different podcast focusing on fashion and style like 2 months ago. It's on Spotify. It's called Weird Right. And it's just like quick tips about style and clothing brands and how to wear certain things and just tips and shit. And I just felt like I was neglecting the fact that I went to school for fashion design and marketing and I'm not doing shit with it. I'm not doing shit with my knowledge. And do I buy nice things? Hell yeah. Always do. Do I go out a lot? No. Why? Because I don't like people. I'm not in a city where I give a fuck about what people are wearing. New York is a city where you can care about what people are wearing and how they're wearing it, and they just boss up. Atlanta is not that girl. Atlanta is a place where people who think they're famous have a stylist, and they're all shopping at the same place, and they all go out looking alike. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so bored with it. Bored with it. And so there's a lot of stores here where you're really not getting anything exclusive because nobody's really trying. And so I get really bored with that. So I was like, I'm going to do a podcast where I can talk about fashion and get my fashion rocks off. So that's what Wear It Right is. And you can find it on Spotify. As for me, podcasting has been like a place where I can vent and get my shit off without needing to have somebody on the phone, needing to have somebody give me feedback, needing to have somebody answer my questions on shit, needing to have somebody validate me. I think it's very important for people to validate themselves. I also did an episode on that probably like 2 seasons ago. Because if you like it, you like it. If you want to do something, you want to do something. Stop waiting for people to tell you, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Sometimes society's going to think your ideas is trash. Sometimes you're going to put out work and everybody's just going to judge and nitpick you for it. But if you was like, would you put out a book? And then you're going to be like, well, I have to have this in, I have to have this, I have this, I have this. Or I want to do a podcast talking about that. Well, that's personal information. Why are you sharing that? If you feel as though you would never share something I spoke about, that is cool. I think that is great. I think that is your business. But for me, I live a life of honesty. I want to talk about shit that will possibly help somebody else. And I don't want to feel like I gotta censor my experience. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Philly, but I don't have Philly characteristics. Okay, people from Philly know what I'm talking about. People that dealt with people from Philly know what I'm talking about. I'm not shysty. I'm direct. I'm straightforward. I'm not a, girl outside in Philly streets. No shade, but I just like a life of no drama. So my mother did not raise me all my life in Philly. We moved around. So I've lived in Baltimore, I've lived in Maryland, I've lived in Florida, and I've lived in Georgia. Then after I graduated college, I moved my ass to New York because that's where I really wanted to be. I lived there for 6 years and I was fucking exhausted. And I'm just like, yo, people in New York have this illusion that they gotta struggle and they gotta work hard in order to get something great out of life. And I got to a point where I'm just like, I'm not trying to be in my fucking 30s, wasting my 20s, working for somebody else's dream, and then trying to play catch up in my 30s to have a life. So I was like, nah, there's a much better way to move down south, work a job that you don't really love, and still be able to enjoy something, and still be able to allow your children to have a life and a childhood where it doesn't involve stoops and drive-by shootings and them not being able to ride their bike up and down the street because your block doesn't have sidewalks and is not safe and the parks look like shit. I have a great assortment of parks that I could take my kids to. My kids' school bus drops them off in front of my house. Like, shit that I didn't even get as a kid, my children get the better of. I have a house with a huge front yard and a backyard and a driveway. And we have a truck to take us from place to place. We don't have to walk miles with groceries. No shade to my mother, but my mother also had a mentality that struggling was going to make her a better person. Struggling was going to make us well-rounded. What struggling did with me, with my mom, when she could have asked for help, but her pride was in the way. It made me be very picky with people, which is not a bad thing. But at the same time, I like to be by myself. My mom was usually always helping somebody, and I was forced to be around people. My house was a kid house on the block. My children cannot invite anybody to my house. It's rare that I ever set up a play date. Most of the time, my best friends want to take the girls and then they go to like a kid party. I usually don't go. Like, I'm very like to myself. Where are the children that came out of me? They can come. You know what I'm saying? We do fun things. Like, I'm very involved with my kids. I don't spoil them. I give them what they need. They're surrounded by, a clean house, toys, clothes, options, iPads, computers, a TV. We hang, you know what I'm saying? But as far as like struggling to have those things, I'm not into that shit. I'm not going to keep saying year after year, oh, it's getting bad here. I gotta get out of here and not do shit. If I am somewhere where I don't like it and I'm uncomfortable, I'm dipping, I'm leaving. Especially with the fact that my kids didn't ask to be here and it's my job to set them up and give them somewhere great. So that's why I'm in Georgia, okay? If I was single without kids, I'll probably be living overseas in Japan somewhere, buying shit in a high-rise apartment, living my life and spending my money on things and food, okay? But I wanted to have children. I wanted to create a family that wasn't toxic. I wanted to create a family that I didn't see growing up. I wanted no drama. I wanted no trauma. I wanted my kids not to have to go to therapy because of what someone has done to them or said to them. I want some simple, stress-free shit. And I'm very proud of myself that at, 35, I'll be 36 in a few days, that I can do that for my kids. I can do that for my family, I'm okay, Do I want more? Of course. But I think sometimes when we're in our 20s, we have this illusion of what our life is going to be by a certain age, and it's not going to be that. It's so funny how people say God just laughs at your plans. My plan's been going as planned up until I graduated college. And then it did go as planned because I moved to New York. I interned. I got jobs. I was always working. And then I got tired. I got exhausted, And I think for me now, no, I don't work a job that I love. I just work a job that can pay my bills and let me put shit to the side so I can have a life. But I have to find my passion in other shit. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people. They spend so much time trying to put on for other people. Like, I'm not going to go out my way and get the car of my dreams that I want if I cannot physically afford it right now. Financially, I'm not going to be in the hole just to be like, oh, I got a Benz or I got a BMW or, yeah, I got a Maserati and I got a house and I got this and this and this. What do you have? I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? When I buy nice things, it's going to be because I could buy it twice. When I own a home, it's going to be because I put money in an investment property before that pays for that home. So I don't feel tied down to something and trying to worry about where my next dollar is coming from. Like, I don't want to be 60 working in a store ringing up people because I didn't plan for retirement. You know what I'm saying? Because my 401k wasn't enough. Because we're not getting Social Security. So when we old, it's going to look hella different. Right? And I'm not one of these women that's sitting out here trying to play look her best so some man picks her and be like, yeah, you will do. I'm going to do life with you and we'll just have a house. And in order for you to have a life when you're 50 and 60, just go ahead and marry me now so you're not struggling to do it yourself. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, if a relationship is not what I deem healthy for me, I'm not doing this shit, right? And so I'm not in no rush to jump in a relationship with somebody. I'm not in no rush to have this type of car, buy this house. I'm just like, I can handle what's on my plate. I'm not stressing about what's on my plate right now. And that's how I like to live. A lot of people are every day working in stress in their 30s. A lot of people are 35 and still trying to figure out, oh my God, I got to hurry up and find someone to get married so I can have these kids because that's how society tells me I have to do it. Fuck that. Now, I'm not telling you to go outside and fuck anybody and have kids, but I'm just saying this idea of what marriage is supposed to be and when you're supposed to have kids and what that's supposed to look like, it's supposed to look like what the fuck is supposed to look like for you. Okay? Nobody said you're going to get married, you're going to be happy, there's going to be peace, it's going to be healthy, and then you're going to have kids and everything's going to be great. There's problems in every type of relationship. Every single fucking one there's problems in. But I think what's important is growing with people and understanding how you need to deal with people in order for your life to be good, in order for their life to be healthy. You know? And so for me, at 35, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. Would I like to travel more? Yeah. But as a mom, it's hard to travel with a clear head when you're not sure about, is your child going to be in the best care? Is your child around the right people? You know, there's only like three people on earth that I'm just like, if they got the girls, I don't have to worry. You know what I'm saying? And it's not because everybody else is wrong. It's just a level of trust and experience with certain people when it comes to my kids that I'm just like, they have like their best interest and I ain't got to second guess it. And I'm super picky about that. So I told people, like, I'm not celebrating none of my birthdays until I can go out the country. Like, every birthday, I said last year, every birthday I have, if I'm not going out the country, I'm not celebrating shit. I'm not having no party. I don't want to do no dinner. I don't want to do no brunch. I don't want a big ass celebration. I don't want no barbecue. I just want to chill. I want to do nice things for myself. This year, what did I do? I set an appointment for a facial. Like, I think a day before my birthday or 2 days before my birthday. I'm getting my hair braided a week before my birthday. Like, little shit like that. Like, I always do something nice for me on my birthday every year. But, like, truly celebrating my birthday, I want to see the world. I want to see new shit. I want to be around newness. I want to be around something I can learn from. I want to have new experiences on my birthday. I don't want new shoes on my birthday. That's regular ass shit. I want to go see another country. And so for me, if I'm not seeing another country, like, I don't give a fuck about who tells me happy birthday. I don't give a fuck if you remembered. Like, that's nice and everything, but the real celebration is new experiences. The real celebration is gaining some new knowledge each year. And a lot of people don't understand that that's what living is. Living is not oh, let me get to my 20s so I can have this. Let me get to my 30s so I can have this. Let me get a house because society tells me I have to have a house. Let me have kids because society tells me I have to have kids. Let me get married because society says I have to get married. And let me work a job that pays me this much and I have this benefits and my life is set. That shit is not happiness. You know what I'm saying? I have most of those things and I don't feel fulfilled in it. I feel responsible that I set these things up in place so my children can have the type of lifestyle that they have, right? And I think when it comes to me and being able to create how I create on the side of all of that shit, all of those responsibilities, I think I feel good because there's a lot of people that's my age that all they do is work, All they do is work. They don't have any fulfillment. They're not exercising any type of talent that they have. They're not working on themselves being better, And I just feel like the moment you stop wanting better or doing better or learning something, you're dying. And I don't want to raise my children with resentment because I didn't pour in on me or I put everything in front of myself with being a mom and being kid and taking care of kids. And so 36 years, I feel like it's cool. The way I see like relationships has completely changed since my 20s. The way I imagine my future, honestly, sometimes I see myself with someone as a partner, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just see myself having property, not having to worry about income for sure. I definitely want a tiny house that I could travel with. And just like really exploring. Like I want to explore. After these girls get like 24, 25 and I feel like they got it. Okay? I feel like I could take their training wheels off in life. I'm going to be one traveling ass mom. Okay? I want to travel. I want to see other places. I want to hear different music. I want to be immersed in different cultures. I do not see myself with one house in the South. I don't see myself with one home on the West Coast. I do not see myself with one home in New York. I'm not limiting myself at all. Like, I feel like everything I believe in, what I work hard for, what I'm manifesting with positive speaking and thinking, it can happen, it will happen, right? And as long as I stay honest and truthful with myself, as long as I'm just like, you know what? You could have did better on this. You dropped the ball on this. Cool. Brush yourself off. You ain't got no time to dwell on it. Next opportunity. As long as I keep up that momentum right there, I feel like I can have it. Okay? Nothing is not unattainable in this life. Okay? But you can't block your thinking and you can't block your blessings with pride and ego as if you know everything there is to know already and you don't need any help. Like, we have to be honest with ourselves. Like, if you need to work on yourself and you need to get better, then that's what the fuck you need to do, right? You know, you don't get to 36 years of life bullshitting and thinking that your life is about to be great moving forward without you doing any work. It's not. Okay? To have 19 seasons of a podcast with about, I want to say, an average 30 episodes each season is not easy, but I feel like I would have struggled way harder if I was doing this for popularity, if I was doing this for money only, if I was doing this because this person has a podcast and that person has a podcast, so I want a podcast. If I was doing it for that reason, then that would have been an issue, right? So I don't see it as an issue. Like, I know what machines are behind what podcasts and why they're doing the numbers that they do and why they have the exposure that they have. I know that. And to be a great podcaster is an investment. Okay. Don't get caught up in people making it look like a breeze or easy. I got these numbers easy. I got these followers easy. Like, it's a whole consistency monster behind getting in the right faces in podcasting, okay? There's thousands of podcasts now. Everybody wants a podcast. Companies are making podcasts. AI is making podcasts. AI, ChatGPT is going to annihilate so many podcasters that have a bland format, have a corny approach. They use Google for content only. Like, you have to do more in order to get ahead. And I'm going to talk more about that. And a lot of times, my life in my 30s sounds like this. Kids, nature, joy, but still doing it solo because it's just like, it's just easier not to have to try to make someone else's time match mine in order to do what they need. And I think that can be possible, but it's harder when you're trying to build and find that from somebody new. It's from scratch. And I'm just like, I'll just do this by myself until I build up the want to find someone to enjoy this with. So for right now, it's just me and the girls while they chase squirrels. Don't go over there. Why is it that loud? That old men being them them sling cars or them loud ass big ass motorcycles with the radio loud as shit. In ways of like protecting my neck, it's about preparation. I have to prepare for my day in order to feel level-headed, balanced, not ripping and running, trying to catch up with the clock. Like, I like to be places before time. A lot of people can't keep up with that shit. So I end up doing a lot of things solo because I don't like last minute shit. I don't like last minute moves in order to get things how it's supposed to be set up. I like to have my time. I like to think things through, and I like to be overly prepared because it makes me feel better. It makes my mood better. Better for other people when I have time to prepare. And so, yes, that is how I protect my neck. And for the record, I don't think there's anything wrong with podcasting how you want to podcast. But the reason of why you're podcasting has to be more than I want to make money. Has to be more than I want to be just like X, Y, and Z. Has to be more than I want to get a lot of IG followers, or I want to make people want to see my clips. What are you saying? Are you going to be okay with what you said 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when your grandchildren play it back? Like, the internet is forever, so just keep that in mind. Create, make it different, make it unique, because AI is on that ass. And a lot of people are opening the door for AI, big arm hug. And a lot of people are side-eyeing AI because if you can format a whole episode in 4 minutes with transcripts so people can read it and write-ups, you are slowly but surely annihilating the point of a human being doing the work to create a podcast, to come with unique content, and to give a great show with real laughs, with real compassion, with real intimacy. Y'all are calculating discussions that should be had with humans, not with a robotic device. So just keep that in mind. As long as you keep your show unique, I feel like you should be fine. I don't plan on stopping podcasting anytime soon. I'm curious on what shows are to come. I'm ready for season 20. I'm slowly but surely adding and taking away things that I want to talk about. I'm trying to focus on things I haven't talked about in 19 seasons, which is hard because what have I not talked about? So it's going to be interesting, and I'm open for bigger opportunities. Visually, I'm trying to see if I want to switch up something, how I market it. I'm trying to see if I want to do it differently. But y'all know it's going to be a new cover because I always do a new cover for each season. And y'all know I'm going to add something and I'm going to take away something. So just stay tuned. Be good to yourself. Be great. Focus in on what you want to focus in on and believe in your fucking self. Stop looking for validation outside of yourself. If you feel like you did the work, if you feel like you have a gift and something to say that hasn't been said, get the fuck on this mic and turn it on and turn it up. Now, if you still working through your personal shit and you just want to do your therapy on a mic, be ready for what comes with that. Because people will always play back what you said. People will always find receipts. And that's all I'm saying. Protect your neck. Be good to yourself. Keep it real. Keep it authentic. Be genuine. And I will check y'all at 36. Peace.
When everyone's on the same page, getting things done at work is easy. No matter what you do or what industry you're in, how you communicate is key. Everything you type is equally important to collaboration, and Grammarly can help. Think of it as your AI writing partner, empowering you to communicate effectively and efficiently, so you can make a bigger impact in the workplace. 96% of Grammarly users say it helps them craft more impactful writing. And as the gold standard of responsible AI, Grammarly is your secure AI writing partner that allows your team to make their point and move faster. By understanding your writing and context, Grammarly provides relevant, personalized suggestions. And with tone suggestions, you can navigate even the most difficult work conversations. You can also save time from spending hours editing drafts to just seconds with one click. Sign up and download Grammarly for free at grammarly.com/podcast. That's GRAMMARLY.com/podcast. Easier said, done.